we're all Firepoint users, clearly, and we're trying to figure out how to make this work for us the best way possible. So this is going to be a fun, kind of fast-paced breakout session. We're going to be going through some of the ins and outs of what really works for me. And then we're going to do a question and answer so we could get more specific in what you need. So to get started, okay, we're going to be going over 3 different areas of Firepoint. And we're going to be looking at the theory of the why with the CRM. We're going to talk about the daily processes and use of it. This is my favorite part. And then some important details, just kind of as a refresher. Things that are good to keep in mind when you're using it and to make part of your habit. So theory of why. This is a good one. I've had a lot of people say to me, do you recommend one CRM over another? I had been with Follow Up Boss, I'm now with Firepoint. The short answer is no. I don't recommend one over the other. It really depends on the one you are going to work. That's the biggest takeaway. The purpose of a CRM is to organize your life. We are all productive, busy agents. We have people we have to contact, and your CRM is a tool to allow you to know who to contact and when. It's also meant to help you communicate quickly and efficiently, and to be aware of the who to contact, what's important, why, and when. So I've had folks ask us, why hasn't YLOPO just created a CRM? I came to YLOPO from Tiger Leads back in the day, and Tiger Leads was a one-stop shop. And then I got to Commissions Inc., and that was a one-stop shop. So the question is, why can't YLOPO just make us a CRM that does everything we want? And the short answer is because we don't want them to take their time and energy away from being trailblazers in the world of getting us folks. We want the CRMs, it's their business, it's what they do. We want them to continue doing what they do and let YLOPO and all their genius run in their lane. So with the traditional CRM, if it's a one-stop shop, you have to think about it, the amount of engineers it takes, the amount of developers it takes, the amount of troubleshooting and support it's going to take to navigate some of these issues. That would pull away from the innovation that YLOPO gives us. So that is the short answer. And the reminder is that we're years ahead of where our competition is. So we want them to continue positioning us. Our AI is so trailblazing that people are just now starting to even understand AI, and we're completely using it and running with it. So now section 2 is where I'm going to get into some basics, but then I'm also going to screen share with you. And if you're able to watch what I'm doing, I'm going to show you what my daily process is. I'm also going to give you some tips and reminders that I use. So in section 2, what we're going to go over is the new and unconverted opportunities, the people that we don't know yet. And if you've heard me speak, you know that I don't like to call them leads. I like to call them people. And they're people that we don't yet know. The old and unconverted opportunities, if you want to think of those as low-hanging fruit, those are folks that have been in your system for a long time. How do we know who to contact and when? And then what about when we have converted them and they're active with us? How do we manage them then? I always get caught up into the cadences and the scripts, and I'm going to hold back on that on this breakout because that is going to be covered further along in the training. So I don't want to duplicate what you're going to hear. But if you have any questions in the processes, that's where we're really going to get into it. So this is where I'm going to quickly summarize it, and then I want to show you on my screen what I actually do. So this is how to optimize the processes. I'm a big believer in bookmarking, and I think that it was something that Gabe Cordova showed me with Firepoint, and it has changed my life exponentially, so I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to share systems, and you'll see my bookmarks are numbered in order of my systems. And then campaigns and Raya, and how to involve her in what we're doing. So let me stop sharing this for 1 second while I pull up my Firepoint. What's that? Can you still see my screen, everyone?
Nope, Livia, we just see you. Might need a screen share again.
Okay, let me pull it up right here. Are you able to see that?
Yes.
Yep, perfect.
All right, great. So I am going to shift this over here. Okay, so here is my login. Now I've created a bookmark for my folks in order of importance. And I'm going to show you how I do it. And I'm going to advise you try this system out. If it doesn't work for you, you can come up with another system, but I think it's well worth trying. So the first thing that we've done is we go in, and in our office, we like to contact the AI engaged first, because these are people that have begun a conversation and we don't want to leave them hanging. So if you go into your Firepoint and click on leads, sorry, it's a little slow in pulling up. Well, it's very slow right now. Okay, so you're going to click on leads, and then you're going to use the drop-down box. This is kind of our little cheat sheet. You're going to go to AI status, which is going to pull up under AI status all the folks that have recently communicated with AI. But you'll notice it keeps all the leads assigned to you, and that frustrated me. I wanted more of a smart list. So you're going to go to filter leads, and you're going to click on the AI interested and AI needs follow-up. Apply that. And this is going to bring up everyone that has engaged in some way with AI. Now, what I would recommend you do is go up to bookmarks and bookmark this tab. I named it number 1, AI interested. And that is the very first thing I do every day when I go in. I did the same. So you do the same drop down for AI status. And instead of those tags, the tags that I chose for the engaged or not interested, you go to tags and you do AI engaged, AI not interested, and apply that search. They're my number 2s because they're a pretty quick cleanup. AI engaged or AI not interested is someone you should keep an eye on. It might be something you want to jump into, or it's someone that has indicated by their conversation with Raya that they're not interested in moving forward right now. You can go through these pretty quickly and you can adjust their status based on what they've told you. Then we go to new. And we do new next because, like I said, AI, they're communicating with us. Then we go to the new. We then do priority. We do our tasks. We do our re-engaged. And then we go to our seller experience. And then tags 8 and 9 are folks that we have, it's the current clients or the past clients. And these tend to be people that we're already communicating with. Past clients come up in reminders for us. And the current clients we tend to be busy with as it is. So with those, I put them as 8 and 9 because they are something that I want to touch on, but they're not as high priority to me because I'm already dealing with them. Now, for old and unconverted opportunities, those are going to be your priorities. So priorities are going to be folks that they are in the system. They're showing by behavior that they're interested in doing something, but we haven't yet identified where they're at. So if they're, or converted them to actually show them properties. So if you have, when you go into priorities, a hot, you might want to work those first and then tackle your unknowns Your unknowns are going to be the ones that you work down. You're trying to establish timeline. And then the converted and the active, as I said, are the folks that come up under 8 and 9, current and past. And our secret sauce with these is with current clients, we are checking in with them daily. They're folks we're working with, we're showing them properties, we're out with them. Those should be seen daily. With past clients, those are folks, someone told me the secret is the day after the closing, the week after the closing, 2 weeks after the closing, month after the closing, and then every month thereafter until you start putting them on a annual check-in for their property. So now, getting into the details of the CRM. Before I proceed, does anyone have any questions with what I just shared now?
I've just got to figure out how to get them into the bar up there, because right now what I just did didn't work, but I'll play with it.
Okay, so are you in Safari or Chrome?
Chrome.
Chrome. Okay, so
Yeah.
what I do, you know what you might have to do is if you're in the bar, go to Bookmarks and Bookmark Manager.
Hold on.
Oh, will you send out an instructional video of how to get there again? I kind of fell a little bit behind, but I'd love to utilize this.
Okay, I think we're, Imogen, are we going to be sharing this video after, or are we?
Yeah, so I'm recording this and this will be shared and dispersed to everyone that would like it.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. Okay, so what we'll do is try to do this. I find it exponential. I mean, it is just an orderly way. Now, if you're running a team or if you're a broker owner, you're going to want to have this. And if you're actually working people in your database, you're going to want to have this set up for you, but then you're also going to want to have this set up for your team. So I do it for me, and then I have sub bookmarks that are next home AI interested, next home AI engaged, and I have them all set up the exact same tabs, because what I'm doing, and for those, I'm not part of it. I do all the agents other than me, but I'm keeping an eye on all the ones in priority of when they should be contacted to make sure my agents are doing it.
Livia, one of the questions in the chat, would you be able to touch on how you filtered for your re-engaged and seller experience, tab 6 and 7?
Yes. So if you go to leads, sorry, it's so slow. This is the only thing. Sometimes it takes a moment. And you go to YLOPO re-engaged. Now, the re-engaged folks are going to be people that they've come back to you. They've dropped off and they've come back. You'll notice in the tags, you'll have returned. Sometimes it comes up Y priority. Let me just close that. Sometimes the tags will be AI engaged, Y priority. So some of these are going to duplicate. And when they do, so if it was AI interested or AI engaged, I would have already touched them. They would not be showing up on this list. The re-engaged is people that have come back. You know, when you get the text message and it says so-and-so has come back after so many days to search, they're going to come up here. And they're number 6 on my list because I'm really just reminding myself that there's someone I should have eyes on. There's someone that I should be paying attention to. I'm going to just open up the chat here because I wasn't seeing it. Let me see. So with the re-engaged, that's how I got them. And so you do this and then you go up to bookmark this tab. Seller experience, you're going to want to do the same. Go to your filter and under tags, and we'll get into tags and which ones I think are the most valuable. But you're going to go to seller alert and put that in and then apply that. And that is going to be your smart, I'm sorry, you don't want it under re-engage. You're going to just have it. So go to all your leads, not just the re-engaged ones, and then type in seller alert under the tabs. So these seller alerts are the folks in your database that have indicated they're interested in selling. So you want to have eyes on these folks. You're going to hopefully turn them all into active listings. But for now, these are people that you need to get to know. You need to understand what they're doing. And once HomeBot rolls out, it's going to be an awesome tool we can play with to really engage with them.
Livia, would it be possible to make your Chrome browser larger? It's just tough to see. It's like only half the screen.
Sure. Let me
Thank you.
this right here. Absolutely. Is that better?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Okay, so then you're setting up your bookmarks. You can, now this is what works for me, but I've seen other people do a different version. I do ask my agents to do it in this order of priority because this is how I have seen we convert the clients. But other people prioritize new first and they want to touch them before anyone else does. And I understand that. It's just for us, we like to engage with the people that are actually talking to us. Now I'm trying to go through some of the questions. Imogen, are you going to be keeping me posted on what I should be sharing or should I be reading these?
Yep, I'm trying to answer some questions here. Some people were saying that they don't have certain tags in there, so it could be that they're new clients.
Okay.
If the tags aren't showing up for them, we might need to get them pulled up.
Okay, and let me
and
show
then
you how to find your tags as well. You're going to want to go to Office Settings and then Tags. And you can search here to see what your tags are. So if it's AI engaged or AI interested, you're going to see them coming up here. These are YLOPO created tags. These are not tags that we created.
Livia, would it be possible for you to share like a cheat sheet? I think most of them make sense, but just as to, you know, your first bookmark bear, AI interested, obviously, it's an AI interested or AI needs follow-up tag. And then from there, kind of what the other tags that you
What we
have
use and
associated.
why. Yeah,
I'm sorry?
definitely. I can do a whole list of what we use and why and the thought process behind it.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
Sure. I'm just going to show you too. So this is where we are in the press, but so systems. This is a system. It is a subtle system, but we use bookmarks to get there. So instead of just living in within Firepoint and trying to get to everything right from dashboard, I've created this cheat sheet that just keeps me on point. You'll find that when you're working through this, your dashboard is adjusting accordingly. Now, if you get through everything and you're right where you need to be and you've done all of your 1 through 9s, you're going to want to come in here and go to your active leads. This active leads is people that were just in the system and just communicating, and you're going to want to touch them and reach out to them to see what you've done. So like Whitney logged in after 15 days. She did not save any. We have her as a bad number. So we're going to try to email her and find out what's going on. It's rare in a day to be able to get through all of your list plus have time for this, but this is my backup when it comes to systems. I go through it all and then I jump into this. Sorry, my screen is hiding on me. Okay, so with the campaigns and Raya, that's the other question I get a lot of. What do we do with Raya and what do we do with campaigns, and how often do we turn them on and how often do we turn them off? So for us, we let the campaigns be a backup. Right now, we've turned Raya on for all of our folks that we don't know. And I think I've talked to all of you about my tags, I know and I don't know. You don't even really need the I don't know. It's self-explanatory. Just the I know is good enough because you can sort through all your folks and remove the I knows. And then you're going to want to go through all those people that you haven't yet gotten to know and turn Raya on. Let her start qualifying people for you. That's how we do it. We used to do it by campaigns only. And the campaigns we would turn on. We have a 33 touch campaign. We have the 10 days of pain. I can share these campaigns with you if you'd like to see them and see if any work for you. but I found that it's almost better to let Raya do the work to initially qualify them while you're also trying. And then when either her or you qualify them, then turn on a campaign. These worked when we needed someone to remind us to touch them, but Raya is doing that for us. So that's what we're doing now. Although I do have to say, and we're going to be importing this, I was just shared an amazing follow-up boss action plan from another user. And it's crazy what he does with this. It's just a reminder to take action on certain people in the database and when. We're going to be inputting this into Firepoint. I've already sent a copy of it to Firepoint. So it would be a good idea. I'll share that with all of you and you can take a look at it. It's a good one to turn on for the people that you don't know that have not ever gotten back to you. And it's a good way to touch in with them. It includes bomb, texting, calling. He does add a tag, remove a tag, remember to try this, remember to try that. It's just a real valuable way to keep yourself in front of them. So I will share that also. And then in terms of again, with the systems, I want to make sure that you understand when I say systems, it's having something consistent that you're going to do every day. So in Firepoint, when we log in, we 1 through 9 every day. And you might hit a priority that you know you just bombed the day before or just sent a video to the day before. You're not expected to do it again. You just need eyes on them because they're incredibly active. So that's how we use that. Any other questions on the actual components before I go on to, because I'm going to get into the tags next in a little more detail.
Livia, could you touch on, someone asked, what would you do if someone had a bad email and no phone number, whether you would trash them or whether you do something else with them?
If they have a bad email and no phone number, I don't trash them right away because sometimes they'll log back in. I put bad number so that YLOPO is trying to get their correct number. But if they consistently come up and they have so here's an interesting share. I didn't even have this in my press, but I'm going to share it now. So Barry was talking to me about how he uses pawns in Firepoint to be a filtering system. And I thought it was genius. And so we're now doing it. If you go to pawns in your Firepoint, think of this less as a place that everyone can grab out of. It is that. But think of it also as a filing cabinet where you can put people into. So if you go, this is an example, but bad numbers, Livia. I created a pond and I put everyone in there that has the bad _number tag. So when I'm trying to call someone and I find out that this number has been disconnected, they go into my bad number pond. I mark them and I put them there. It's something that I can keep eyes on to see if they re-engage with a new phone number, but it's a way for me to categorize them. We also have the do not contacts. These are people that have said do not contact, and then we start seeing them come up in priorities. We want to respect what they're asking, but we also want to keep eyes on what they're doing so we don't lose them. We have our over 1 million for specific towns are not interested. We made a whole pond with that everyone's part of, and it allows them to go in when they're not doing anything and try to reactivate someone, find out why they're not. You'll notice too that if you go to, like, let's go to my priority. So they're all in a pond, but when you actually click on the priority, some pond folks will come up. So Whitney, who is just logged in with a bad number, was active 43 minutes ago, and she's my bad number pond. So what it's going to tell me, bad number pond, I know those are folks I want to email. And depending on what their level of interest is, that's going to be someone that I might create a campaign, which is an email, and send that to them. And usually for bad numbers, what I'm trying to do on my email is send a bomb or a video to them saying, I've noticed properties are hitting the market that I wanted to talk to you about, and I've noticed I don't have a good number for you. Is there a good number you can respond back with so I can reach out to you? I promise not to be a bother. I just wanted to follow up. And I'll send that out to them so that the pawn numbers, I'm trying to get their right number sooner as well. But it was a genius idea that Barry gave me, and I think it's fabulous, and I use it all the time. So this is a new implementation, but something that I would highly encourage you guys to do. Pretend this is your filing database and you're putting people in. The other thing, we just created this the other day, the sphere. So this can be everyone that you know, not necessarily interested in real estate, but that you want to suck them in and you want to be seen where they are. Start adding them into the sphere pond, and then you can put on remarketing there. And then working with another agent, we keep this as a pond because we're watching to see what they're doing. They've told us they have an agent, but if it's been an extended period of time and they're logging in multiple times, we just reach out and say, listen, we wanted to check in. We know you're working with an agent. Are there any properties you want us to send to them that you're interested in? Very often the response will be, I'm no longer working with that agent, and you can reactivate them. Okay, so I'm about to get into tags, but I wanted to see if anyone else had any other questions. I am trying to go through.
Livia, could you maybe talk a little bit about what email or text campaigns you use and whether you turn off Raya after you talk to a lead or convert a lead?
Yes, so I do turn off Raya if I'm talking to them. But it depends on the level of conversation I have. If I have a general conversation, getting to know, I really don't mind my assistant reaching out. And I find with a lot of my Zillow folks that are coming in, it's interesting how it opens up a second opportunity for me to get into a deep dive with them. So when they come in, usually with Zillow, they're connecting them to you. So you have a conversation. And then I put everyone that comes from another lead source into my database. So remarketing can get turned on. When they're communicating or when they're in my database, Raya starts communicating with them. And there's nothing more exciting than when Raya says, I'm Livia's assistant, and I wanted to reach out to get some more specifics on what you're looking for in your timeline. And they respond back, oh, we're actively working with Livia. She's our agent. It's thrilling. You just feel like, yay, I am the agent. So these are people that I haven't necessarily met, but I leave Raya on for them, even though I've talked to them. I do it as a conversation by conversation basis. One of the cool new features that Firepoint is rolling out as well, it's still in the beta, but it is the rapid dialer. And that's amazing because when you're going through these folks, let's say it was AI interested, you would be able to pick all these people. You can go down and select them, and then you would start a call session. And it is going to call one after another, after another, after another, and give you an opportunity to put in notes and to identify how the conversation went. You do that, you're going to be able to go back and reference it and determine if the conversation was sufficient to turn Raya off, or if you still want your assistant to follow up on your behalf. Remember, they don't think it's you and they don't know it's AI. So if they get annoyed, it's a great opportunity to reach back out and say, I'm so sorry for my assistant reaching out again. She's extra diligent today. I did let her know we're working together. I just wanted to let you know that I've let her know. No problem. They're always fine with it. It's just a chance for you to talk to them again. With the campaigns, we turn on our campaign. I'll show you our favorite one. It is the 33 touch campaign. And this we turn on for folks. So these are people that we want to be a little bit more in touch with. We have our newsletters, we have handwritten notes. These are kind of our sphere. These are people that we want to let them know who we are, what we do, and why we do it. And we'll turn this on for people that have come into our database that we feel that they might not be interested right now. We know who they are. And again, when I say sphere, these are folks that are in your, it could be coming through Facebook. It could be people you put in. I put them in that pond and we turn this one on. We love this. The other campaigns that we like, and I can share, I believe Firepoint can share all our campaigns so you can see them. We do a ton of nudge texts as a campaign. And if you haven't done the mass texting, just make sure you're abiding by the texting rules now. And I'll share after the top ones because we have a lot of different ones. We have campaigns for the right now. We have campaigns for the 3 to 6 month. We have campaigns for the 6 to 12. And then we have a just kind of nurture campaign to keep them engaged. And then that sphere one is great for people that you're putting in. They might not even be looking at real estate, or people you've put in that just closed on a house. It's a nice way to keep back in touch with them. 10 Days of Pain, a lot of people have heard about this one, but this is like a brand new person that has come in and you just try to get them. I prefer Raya trying to get them to me right now. It saves me time and it seems that I get a better response from people. But I will share all the campaigns, and I'll also share what our response rate is, how many people like it and how many don't. Because some of the agents will take this and then they're going to change it to something else. And then we allow them to do that and make it their own. This was a very general one that Sarah put in, and then we each have our own version of 10 Days of Pain, and we use that on our specific folks that come in. I don't anymore, but my agents still do. Does that answer the question about campaigns versus Raya?
Yes.
I'll share what we have that has worked well, and I'll try to share as many variations of it based on what the agents have done. But I will say that, so right now what's working for us is we have Raya turned on for all new people and all priorities. We manually turn it off for the people we've talked to that we don't want her reaching out to. But if someone slips through the cracks, just send a follow-up from you explaining what happened. It doesn't cost you a client. Yes, no text will stop it. So it's no underscore text. Here, we'll go here. And if I didn't want Raya engaging anymore with someone, hold on one second. So if I didn't want Raya anymore, you would just go under the tags and you would add no underscore, no text. Sorry, not no underscore. And I believe there is a, yeah. So if you want to turn Raya on, you're going to do AI start.
Just keep in mind for AI start as well that the lead does have to be in the YLOPO system. So they have to have a stars link. Obviously it won't start for leads that you haven't imported. And it'll also only work for certain sources that we have, researched to be compliant. So sources like Zillow, YLOPO, Trulia, realtor.com. If it's any other source or an unknown source, adding AI start won't initiate anything. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And then Livia, a couple of people had asked about whether you auto import other lead sources and do you have Raya working those as well? So maybe you could just touch on that real quick.
Yep, so I briefly did, but yes, I think my personal opinion, having started with YLOPO we had 6 different lead sources coming in and we had 6 different CRMs to manage them. And we were spread so thin that we did nothing well. I would have everyone come in to your CRM, come into Firepoint, integrate them in. We have them connected into, so if it comes in from Zillow or Trulia or realtor.com, they all come in to our central hub where we can manage them. And then from there, we're able to help them in different ways. But I do recommend having the remarketing set up and having AI turned on. As I mentioned, we do with all our Zillow, we have AI turned on and it helps hugely because it just reiterates who we are to this person that just connected with us. I find oftentimes on Zillow, if they're using concierge, they get transferred to you, but they're looking in another town and they were transferred to this agent. There's not always the understanding of who you are. So the AI engaging is a huge value add. One thing I will say though that is huge, and again, I'm not meaning to get into scripting right now, but I'm going to put this in the line of processes. If you can do an evergreen video, in your office. And by evergreen, I mean nothing that has the time. There's nothing that you can see. There's no windows. You can't see what time of day it is. And I'm not in a huge scarf, and I'm not in a summer dress. Take a video of you introducing yourself and make that be an auto text that goes out and an auto email. Just something, send it by text, and then let the email subject line say, I just texted you this, but wanted to follow up in case you prefer email. And send them a bomb or video of you introducing yourself and who you are. That is a huge impetus to people responding and letting you know what you want to know. You're trying to get to know them. Let them know you're a real person. So that is something that I highly recommend everyone try to do. And that can be auto. And of course, if you have, you know, hair in one video and now you've decided to shave your head and you have no hair, update it, because you don't want to startle the folks when they actually meet you in person. So another question people had was about tags. What is YLOPO added? What is not? There is an entire, in the STARS dashboard. Let me see if I can, let's see. Oh, I just saw the question from Jenica. What do you do if they've engaged with AI and you want to reach out? So one little thing I do is I have fun doing it. I jump into the AI conversation as my assistant and I try to take over. So if you're at a place, because then you're going to be able to get the information you want. So if it comes through on your phone, or if it comes through when you're at the computer and you see it's AI engaged, jump in, click on the link, and follow what's being said. I like to take over if I have 5 minutes, because you can always stop the conversation, but I will start communicating as I'm still my assistant, and I will try to get to know them that way. And I'll usually say, so that I can let Livia know a little bit more about you, can you let me know? And then I'll start asking questions. So it's still Raya doing it, but I'm getting the info I need. And in essence, I'm trying to find out a time for me to call them or for us to meet. And that is my goal. If you can't do it, Raya's amazing. Let her run with it, but just have a plan to try to follow up shortly thereafter. It is frustrating when they engage so quickly with Raya and then they don't engage with you. So sometimes I'll log back into the STARS dashboard, into the inbox, and I will follow up from there as my assistant. So if I see that I've texted in Firepoint and they've not responded, and if you aren't sure how to do this, you would go to the lead inbox here, and you would enter a message here for the lead. So if you're in, let's say it's Riva, and we want to get to her STARS link, you're going to click on her name. You're going to click on the link right here. And it's going to pull up her YLOPO STARS. You've got her inbox right here where she's been communicating with Raya. So you're going to then enter the message here and you're going to start talking to her as your assistant. If you can't get them to respond to you, but they keep responding to your assistant, they might like that number better. So just try it that way to reach them. And you'll be surprised, it does work. Sometimes I think it's that they feel like as the realtor, we're gonna pounce. And as the assistant, they're just info gathering. So it's a great way to get them back communicating with you, but not have it be, they don't know it's you. So that might help as well. Interesting as well, you'll all note, Riva claimed it was a bad number, but notice communicating quite actively with my assistant. So you kind of get to know these little nuances about people when you're doing this. Okay, so in terms of tags, if you haven't downloaded in STARS, you're going to want to go to your dashboard and you're going to want to go to YLOPO Academy. And the easiest way to find it, just type in tags. And YLOPO tags is the first one that comes up. Yes, I see what Shelby said. If the AI has determined they're not interested, it's turned off the AI. And so you can remove that tag, or you can just try to do it yourself through Firepoint. My biggest thing is we can continue the texting game as much as possible, but always try to call them. That's the best way to get them after Raya's engaged them anyway. But if you still can't get them, then just, it's tough, because if Raya's decide they're not interested, you might want to clear that, but then she might try to re-engage them. So just be cautious of that. When it comes to the YLOPO tags, the different tags, it's a great cheat sheet. It tells you what all the tags are and why. So you've got demographic, you've got legacy, you've got what they've said and what they've described. These are huge, you guys. This is what they've said, where they are in their home search. If you have time, look into the people that I need to find out what I qualify for. Pull them all up and say to your lender, I'm sending you a list of folks I'd like you to try to engage with. These are people that want to know what they can qualify for. Or if you want to make the warm intro, send them a message saying, I noticed when you registered, you wanted more info. Rates are at an all-time low. Do you want me to have a lender reach out to you? I was doing that this morning and they were responding very quickly. But these are the big ones. So when it comes to why people are coming in and what the lead activity is, why priority, you want to remember, is someone that has done something that has made the system tell us they're worth paying attention to. So they've responded to a text, or they may have started up their search again after X days, or they've looked at this property 5 times in the past 2 days. We're going to want to have hands on them. Returned is someone that has come back after registering. Unsubscribe, you know they've turned it off. Hand raiser, this is a huge one and sometimes forgotten. Hand raiser, they've requested specific information. It's either information on a listing or they want to see it. We have to be all over those. And then seller alerts are people that have a seller alert drip set up in YLOPO stars. They're getting information as a seller. And just so you know, I don't, Imogen, you might tell me I'm wrong, but I can see the properties they're seeing, but I can't click on the link to see the actual report they're seeing yet. But what you'll notice is in the BAM boxes, the advertising boxes, they are all seller geared. And these are people that have registered as a seller. So you want to go into this with the mindset of a seller. That's why tags are so important, because when you're going through the folks, you don't want to be asking them about what they are looking to buy if they're registered as a seller. So then with the tags, make sure you get used to these. My big ones that I like are obviously the AI. I find those incredibly helpful. And then the why import retargeting, these where they've come from, no text, you can turn it off. And then the other two that really matter to me, let me go over here, are AI start to turn Raya on, and why import retargeting to turn on remarketing to get in front of them. And obviously, as Imogen brought out, it's where they're coming from as well. So if they're coming from a place that you can engage with them, you're going to be able to turn it on. These are my big ones. These are the ones that we pay attention to all the time. These are important to know. You should be following them and you should be tracking them. So we went over how to touch on the stars link. When should you spend extra time in stars? I get asked that a lot. I really don't live in stars. I use stars as kind of the machine behind what I'm doing on a daily basis. You want to go into stars if this is a call I got the other day. I keep telling you, she was telling Raya, that I'm only looking up to 250 and you keep sending me houses up to 800,000. I apologize. You go into stars and what you want to do is adjust the search to reflect what your conversation just was. And that's when I use stars. I use stars for the inbox or I use stars for the search. Another question we had recently is when would I use a push listing versus a new search? The new search is if they're looking in town A and they've set this up, or they're looking in County A and it's a broad search, and you talk to them and they want to narrow it down to a more specific search, I always ask them, do you still want to get the updates for the entire area, or do you only want to see homes in this town, village, location, zip code, and let them choose? If they don't have the time to tell me yes or no, I leave the search they set up on, and then I set up my own search. And my own search is reflective of the conversation I had with them, whether it be by text or phone or email. A push listing is a magical button you can use if you can't activate someone, if you can't talk to someone, or if you're trying to get one of those priority folks to make a move. Use a push listing. You know, when you get the text alerts, priority alerts, it says they've looked at 123 Main Street 5 times. Well, you should be going in there, creating, if you're in front of the computer, create a push listing, send them 123 Main Street with 2 other homes that you just don't know if they're going to like, and say, these just came across my desk and I thought of you when I saw these. Have you seen these properties yet? Are any of interest? Send it over to them and let them respond back. It's very serendipitous, like the house that they really love is the one that their realtor that they're talking to, or the realtor that they're talking to is also sending over. And you can usually get people to engage in a conversation with that. So a saved search is you're setting up a search for people based on what you know they're looking for. A push listing could just be one specific listing that you know is great for them and you want to send it. You just set it up here, and you can pull it up by MLS number or address as well. So you would just type in the address. It would come up in the search. No, let me do it again, sorry. Oh, I did the wrong one, hold on. It's going to come up, you take that. Similar homes are also going to come up within 3 miles. You can click the others that you want to send over. You take them all, you're going to go down, hard to screen share. You're going to go to next. I like to do it as a textable link because it looks like it's coming right from me right away. So I do a textable link. You're going to copy it and you're going to go right into Firepoint and you're going to say, hey, my dear friend, I have a listing I want to send you. And you just cut and paste it in there. And it's a great way to send it. Now, remember, there is a cheat sheet too. That's good if you're sending more than one. But if you want to send just one specific one, you can go. Oh, of course, I'm going to pick one without a phone number. But you can go and just type in the MLS number and send it over, and it will send the YLOPO link. So if we go to AI, where was my? So 22001286, you could go right to text. And you can send the property link and type in the number. Oh, I don't remember. 1286. And it will pull it up there too. And you can insert that link and send it that way also. Sorry about my dog. So that is a cheat sheet. It's another way to do it. Okay, so then the last thing that I wanted to go over, because I know time is tight, we only have 10 minutes left, but knowing where everything lives. So in stars, are you all familiar with, yes, Mike, it's exactly what's going on. Where everything lives, it is, you want to view the stars back end as like your ability to manage what they're getting from YLOPO, but this is not a place you have to live. You can let YLOPO do what they want to do. In terms of the CRM and what your focus should be in the CRM, you want to know where to find all these things. And that's what these bookmarks really let you do. They let you target who is what and when. But another easy way to do it, you've got tasks, you've got your pawns, you have your mass email, your templates, your campaigns. But what I always do, if there's something specific I want to go through, click on your leads and then filter them based on what it is. So if you have a new listing and you want to send it to specific people in that area, do a filter and then send it to them that way. Okay, so now we have just under 10 minutes and I wanted to leave it open for people to ask questions. So I quickly ran through everything. Sorry about the rush. Do you have any questions about what we went over or anything you'd like me to go back to?
Livia, I think a couple that maybe we missed, I've been trying to answer in the chat as we go. Let's see. Spalding asked, do you stop the free piggybacking of leads that have a realtor already? And then somebody else asked, Joseph asked, do you change your dynamic search and create a new search, or do you leave the dynamic one alone? I think we kind of touched on that, but
yeah, so it depends on my conversation with them. I usually leave the dynamic search alone because they've created that or it's been created by their behavior. But if I've talked to them, and I've had people that are looking, they initially start looking up to 1 million just to see what the market has. But they've been pre-qualified and that's not what they're looking for. That's annoying to keep sending it to them. So in those cases, I do turn off the dynamic and I start my own. So that they're getting, I want them to be receiving what they want from me. I don't want them to feel like I'm just a automated system that's not paying attention. And what was the other question, Imogen, about piggybacking?
It was, do you stop the free piggybacking of leads that have a realtor already?
So
I'm not quite sure.
Free piggybacking. Could you clarify on that, what you mean?
Spalding, are you still on? Can you clarify?
I think it might be it might be the pond, I'm thinking, with the working with an agent. You have to tread very lightly working with an agent pond, because you want to make sure that you're not stepping on another agent's toes. You cannot violate the code of ethics. So that's why I always say, would you like me to send something to your agent? You want them to understand that you respect the relationship. It's up to them to tell you if that relationship no longer exists.
I think if I may, on the Spalding question, I'm the one that asked that. This is Alex Goterick. But what I meant to clarify by that is, so if they do have, an agent or whatever, they're still receiving, email updates or, because I know YLOPO is pretty good about sending them new listings as well.
Yeah.
But since they do have an agent, would it behoove them if we, didn't send, you know what I'm saying? Like didn't send,
turn it off.
You're right, right.
So it depends on the conversation. I usually try to feel them out, because sometimes they'll say, I'm working with an agent. I say, oh, okay, I didn't realize you had signed a contract. And you'll be surprised how many people say, oh no, I didn't sign a contract.
I like how you just said that. So you asked them, oh, you've already signed a contract. Repeat what you just said. I like that. It was good.
I'll say, oh, I didn't realize you already signed a contract with another agent.
Perfect. Okay.
Oh, I didn't realize. Just make it kind of cash. It allows, what you're doing is you're making them tell you yes or no.
Gotcha.
Because if they did not, you don't want to take them out just because they worked with another agent. But if they did, or if they're active with another agent, like I have some folks in here, this Marcus Sherman, he's someone that realistically, my gut would have told me to trash the lead, but I'll tell you based on our convo why I didn't. So he hadn't indicated he was working with an agent. I called him because he came in as a seller alert for his property. And so I reached out to him to check on him and his property. And he said, oh, I just listed with another agent, but I wanted to verify the price that she gave me. Okay. So I marked it as working with an agent, and then I've just kind of let it be. It is what it is. So this shouldn't have gone out, but it did. A drip text. However, what it did is it made him respond back, contact my realtor if you want to show my house. Now you would think this would be someone I trashed. The reason I didn't trash him is because he said to me when we're on the phone, I did list my house, but I am also interested in buying a house as soon as it sells. And I said, well, I'm assuming you're going to use your current agent for that. He said, oh no, she's not good on the buying side. She's only good in our area on the selling side. So that's why he's still out there, but he is under contract with an agent right now. So I'm not going to want to trash him because I want him to keep getting my updates so he can let me know when he's done. But I also don't want to step on Maureen Kelly's toes.
Right. That's a case by case deal. Yeah, I get
Case
it.
by case. That's why I've created the pond. The pond is my filing cabinet and I get to watch them. If someone comes up in my priority, which you saw they did, that is in a pond, that is a clue for me to understand what's going on. Now, the working with an agent, I put in a pond and I don't keep them assigned to me. I let them be assigned to the office because it's pretty much someone that I've written off, but I've not gotten rid of, if that makes sense. So when they do come up and they're in a pond, like Whitney Baker Dow or Trish Kerrigan, she's in there as a bad number, so is Whitney, but they're logging back in. So these are people that the bad numbers still belong to me. I didn't make them an office one. They're people I still want to get in front of, but I make sure when they're bad number and they're in the pond that I have eyes on them, because if they keep logging in and their priority, they're getting a bomb from me. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
So have fun with the ponds. The two things that I'd like you to take away, my cheats, are bookmark, 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 and then do the ponds. It's amazing how it just creates this flow. And know your tags. You don't want to go too crazy with tags. When we came over from Follow Up Boss, I mean, we had thousands of tags. I felt so bad for Sabrina at Firepoint. She was trying to help me sort through them, and it was a hot mess. I've cleaned it up considerably because Firepoint does let you don't need all the zip codes anymore because they have the search parameters that you can pull people from just in their filtering. But what you do want to do is make sure that you have tags that you create that are good for you. Like I have a 0 to 3 month. I have a right now 0 to 3 month, 3 to 6 month, 6 to 12, and a 12 plus. I still use that way of thinking, and that is in addition to the status. So the status I use as how hot I feel they are, how willing they are to talk, how likely they are to do something with me. And then the tag is to keep me apprised of timeline, because I like to stay on top of people that have told me they're right now. I want to be touching them once a day. The met in person unlikely and the met in person likely is a lifesaver. You know those folks you go out with, you have a great time, you show them properties, 2 months go by, they're trying to take care of something, they didn't tell you initially, and then the perfect house comes along and you can't remember for the life of you what their last name was. It happens to me. I'll go to my met in person likely and I'll realize this is someone I totally hit it off with, and I can quickly scan through the people that they've already seen me face to face. Agreement signed, active listing, they're very helpful, but still use the tags. And we're right at 3. I hope I touched on enough for everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Any final questions before we go back to training? You're
Just
welcome.
wanted to thank you, Livia.
You're the best.
And just
Thank you.
Just to let everybody know, if you have follow-up questions from this presentation, feel free to email support@ylopo.com. We can always make sure we get you the recording, get you the slides, answer any questions that we weren't able to touch on during the session.
Yep. And you can always request coaching as well if you need a little more specific one-on-one. All right,
Thank you,
guys.
Livia.
Fabulous. Take care.
Thank you.
if anyone's still on this session, make sure that you go back to the main Zoom link. It has the link down here. So we'll be closing out this Firepoint specific session and moving back to the general to continue with the rest of today's sessions. Looks like we still have about 16 people on here. So if you can hear me, please make sure that you log out of this session and return to the main session. The link is here, bit.ly link right below. So I'll be ending this session now, and we'll see you back in the main room. Thanks, everybody.